This one actually should scare you guys a little bit. Actually, well, maybe not scare you, but answer a lot of questions that maybe you've been keeping inside.
Mm.
More than a third of Democrats think Americans have too much freedom.
That's because they want communism and socialism. They literally want this country to be like China.
Yeah. And this is actually a very, very short study, so we can read you the whole thing. I'll throw this up here so you guys can see it. All right. A survey found 34% of Democratic voters believe that Americans possess too much freedom compared to 14.6% of Republican voters. I'm sorry, both of these should be zero.
Correct.
Although an overwhelming portion of U.S. voters believe that freedom of speech protections are beneficial, 52% of Democrats believe it is important that the government be able to censor users and content on social media platforms it feels threatens national security. Well, when you can literally just call anything a threat, like people being escorted around the White House.
Yeah. Listen, this is one of the main reasons I cut the liberal people out of my life.
Amen to that.
I literally all right. Let's go back in time here. All right. Before the United States was formed, the entire human population had been brutalized and, brought to the verge of extinction in certain areas from basically kings, queens, royalty, what have you, where literally they could just spout out an edict and it became law. People were burned at the stake, hung, put in cages, put on the rack, broken on the wheel. I mean, it was very common for people who worked for the king to show up in your town and take everything and call it tax. And people got fucking sick of it. Yeah. Right? And literally, we came to the United States when we're doing our own thing. People are like busting their ass, making their homesteads, their farms, carving out a living out of the goddamn wilderness. And you had a king on the other side of the ocean passing edicts and trying to enforce that shit here. And people said, you know what? We're not having this. In fact, we're going to come up with a constitution that's going to spell out exactly what our rights are. And those rights come from God and cannot be taken away. And now we have a whole bunch of weak sheeple that want to go back to that system. Well, no fucking thank you. I'm good. I paid attention in school. I know exactly what's going on here. And it's literally the weak people of the left. They want to have their safety, they want to have the security, and they're willing to sacrifice all of our freedoms for that. Well, if you do that, you deserve neither, in my opinion.
Amen to that.
I'm off the soapbox.
All right. Soapbox has been vacated. Oh, here's another one. 75% of Democrat voters believe the government should censor hateful social media content.
Oh, and listen, they're calling hateful content when you misgender somebody. You refuse to use their pronouns.
Yeah. Or basically
out of hand.
I'm sorry, but not placating your mental illness is not a phobia.
Correct.
All right. Let's just take care of that right now.
I'm definitely I refuse to participate in. And I actually have one of my former liberal friends who's in the middle of transitioning, and the dude's he's crazier than a tub of nut butter. And I hope he gets the help that he needs to, put him back on the right path. But at his age, he's like 2 or 3 years older than me. And
I doubt it. I think he's done.
Yeah. I mean, at that age, you start pumping that kind of chemicals in your body, you are going to die early.
Oh yeah, he's probably going to get the big C word. He probably got the coof jab too. So you combine those two, and the fact that he's going to have to go on immunosuppressants if he decides to go full tilt retard with this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And it's going to be self-inflicted.
Correct. And my listen, I knew him in high school. He's a good guy. I'm sorry he's going through this, but I am not going to placate a mental illness. Number one. Number two, you're looking at a guy who's had probably a couple dozen substantial concussions, a TBI when I got blown up with a minor stroke. On top of that, before it all happened, I had dyslexia. If you think I'm actually going to remember your pronouns, you're out of your goddamn mind. Because most of the time, I won't even remember your goddamn name.
There you go.
I will have to give you a nickname, and once that happens, I'll never forget you. But I won't remember your name. That's why
I changed it back to Video Dude.
Yeah. I called you Video Dude for what, 3-4 years?
At least.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what are the other things here in this study? 46% of Republican voters believe Americans have too little freedom. That I agree with, but that number should be much higher.
Correct.
Half of Republican voters strongly agree with the sentiment that I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it, compared to less than a third of Democrats.
That's right.
Wow.
They're weak. Listen, if there's any Democrats in the show watching this, listen, I'm not attacking you directly. This is just a generalized comment. Anecdotal evidence from my experience with Democrats and the left. They are physically and mentally and spiritually corrupted and weak.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Podford supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.